welcome everyone. Tonight is about how to get the most out of your investment in a booth at the Dare to Be Aware Fair. And I have lots of good tips for you. I'm Patricia Clayson, if we haven't met before. And with me tonight is Stephanie Gramza. Stephanie handles all of the volunteers at the fair and lots of other logistics as well. She's completely amazing. So if you have any questions for her when we're done with the PowerPoint presentation, you'll be able to ask questions. We'll open the room for conversation. So I'm going to go through the slides and our tips for you. After this, we're done recording this webinar. I will be posting it online so you can watch it again. I will also do a PDF document of all the slides so that all the information that's in the slides will be able for you in a document that you can print out if you want to and even use as a checklist for the fair. So it's important to make the fair the best it can be for you. You are investing a good amount of time, energy, money in order to be at the fair and to share your goods, your services, whatever it is you're coming to the fair to tell the world about. So it's really important at the very beginning that the first thing you do is to define very clearly what it is you want from being in the fair. Do you want to just simply do X number of readings if you're a person who does readings or coaching and you want to make back the cost of the fair and that would be a wonderful day for you? That's perfectly okay. Do you want to get leads and future customers from being at the fair? Then your approach will be a little bit different. Do you want to actually sign people up at the fair? Then some of the things that you do will be different. So you need to know why you're doing this and what you want to get from your investment in the fair. And this is just an overview. I'll be going deeper into all of these things. And then once you've decided what it is that you want to get from being in the fair, then you need to think about how do I tell people about who I am and what I have to offer. You need to prepare your booth space. And we'll give you some tips for that as to things to think about and to do in order to maximize your space. Then you also need to plan for the flow of the day. You'll be arriving sometime, I think it's 7:30 in the morning that the arrival starts on the day of the fair. And you need to be prepared with how you're going to get your things to the fair, how you're going to get them into the space, how you're going to take them down at the end of the day, who's going to cover for you when you need to use the restroom, when you need to leave your booth to eat, things of that nature. Once you've figured out the flow of the day and what kind of physical support you need for the day, another person to be there with you possibly, then the next thing is to consider what you're going to do before the show to drive traffic to your booth. So you need to know who your ideal customer is and how are you going to get them to the fair to learn more about you. So you will promote to the customers you already have. You will promote to your social media lists and groups. But you need to know who your ideal customer is and how are they going to get to you at the fair. Then what are you specifically offering at the fair? Is it signups? Is it discounts on something? Is it actual readings for the day, mini sessions? What will you offer? And what you want people to see at your booth. When they are walking down that hallway or the spaces between the booths, and what will catch their attention? What will cause them to want to walk over and see who you are and what you're doing? And then on the day of the fair, it's showtime. You need to be on your A game, raise your energy level, and be determined to have fun. On occasion, we have had a vendor at the fair who will sit behind their table with their arms crossed at their chair and wait for someone to come up and talk to them. Not very many people do. If you're standing up and you're excited and you're happy to see people and you have something to offer to them, then you'll be reaching out to them. They will respond to you. You can engage them in your service or your product. And then it's also post-show follow-up. What are you going to do after the show, after the fair, with the leads that you have generated? So think long-term. This is a 4-month, 5-month process. There's the prep, there's the day of, and then there's the post-fair follow-through to really maximize on your investment. So we're going to go through each one of these in more depth. So the atmosphere of the fair is magical. If you've been to the fair before, if you're a returning exhibitor, you know that that day is a high energy day. There's a lot of really cool people there. They're all interested in self-improvement, self-awareness, wellness, holistic health, all those good things. They're your ideal customer base. They want to be there. They want to hear what you have to say. That's why they showed up. And that's why they paid the fee to come in. So their interest is what makes it magical. And your job is to capture that interest. So just showing up isn't enough. Really understanding deeply why you're doing this. The short-term goals are day of goals. How many leads might you want to generate during the day? Pick a number for yourself so you have something to work toward. Or what dollars worth of sales do you want to do during the day if you're actually bringing product of some kind? Or maybe you're going to sell gift certificates for your services, but what are the numbers and what are the dollars? And then go beyond that. You've made an investment, time and money in the fair. So how is this going to help you grow your business? Think 3 months from now. Think 6 months from now. Think a year from now before you come back for the next fair. And what do you want to do during that year? How can what you do at the fair help your business grow? And then this is something a lot of people, this next one, something a lot of people don't think about. And that is, how will you contribute to each person that you meet? So that involves thinking about what you might say to people, what you have to offer them, what is it that you could do to contribute to them? Maybe it's a quick piece of advice while you're talking to them about your product or service. Maybe it's a suggestion about something specific that might be helpful to them. What kind of questions will you ask them so you'll know how you can contribute to them? So you might want to take some time to sit down and write out questions that you might hypothetically ask to people to find out why they're interested in you. What about seeing you, seeing your booth attracted them? And then what will you offer them on an ongoing basis to build a relationship? Coming to the fair for something just the day of is okay. People do that, but you'll get more out of your investment of time and money if you think about an ongoing basis. How am I going to get this person to book a session with me, to book another session with me, to refer a friend to me? How am I going to get them to come into my store or my shop and learn more about what I have to offer and spend some money there? How will you develop a relationship with them? Are you going to have a newsletter after the fair that you can send out to all the people who were at the fair and stopped by your booth and gave you their contact information? What will you send to them after the fair? What are you going to do with your social media after the fair to assist in getting that relationship and connection to happen? So the whys are very, very important, and I strongly encourage you to have a conversation with someone else. Do your own brainstorming, but have a conversation with someone else about what you want to do and have them ask you some of these questions, and then you answer those questions And they can tell you whether or not your answer is clear, whether or not it makes sense, whether or not what you're talking about saying or doing will get them interested in it. So invest a little bit of time in some research about how you're going to connect with people.
For a little bit, okay? I'll be done in about 8.
Please turn your mic off, Natalie. Thank you. All right, so a little bit more. Next slide here. So now you've determined why you want to be there. You know what it is that you want to accomplish. Now think about the space that you're going to have. The Dare Fair does not have pipe and drape, the curtains between spaces and behind spaces. It's a wide open space. The spaces are 8 feet wide by 6 feet deep. Inside that space, there's a 6-foot table that's roughly 2.5 feet wide and 2 chairs. So in that space, there has to be space in between the booths for people to get in and out. So don't consider yourself using the 1 foot on either side of your table and doing 8 feet of display. You can put something at the back of your display if you have a big sign that is self-standing. You could put that at the back of your booth space. Usually what most people do is they have their supplies either under their table or toward the back of the booth. They have their room for their 2 chairs, and they will sit from time to time because nobody can stand for the 8 hours of the fair, but you don't want to be sitting all of the time. Some people will put their table deeper into the space so that they can have room in front of the table to be standing and talking to people. That's a great way to pull people into your space as opposed to sitting behind your table. Most of the really successful exhibitors at the fair tend to do that. You can put your table sideways. So if this is hard to do with this little space here, so I'm going to not try to use my hands to show you. You could put your table along the side of that 6 foot deep, 8 foot wide space, and then have the area next to the table that people could walk into. If you are a reader or a coach who wants to sit and talk with people, or you want to do shoulder massages because you're a massage person or something of that nature, remember that you might want to not have a 6-foot table so you can have room for 2 people to be sitting inside your space because you can't go into the walkways. So you might want to bring a card table. People call it a 4-top. It's about 3.5 feet by 3.5 feet square. You could bring your own card table. We do not have those available at the conference center. We will still provide you with 2 chairs. I've also seen people bring in like a massage table and then have just a small, like we used to call them TV tray tables. I don't know what they call them these days. Maybe the same thing, but a smaller table that you could have next to your massage table where you could put literature. I strongly encourage you to get some graph paper, and you don't need to go out and buy a whole pack of graph paper for that. At the end of the presentation, I'm going to give you a couple of links online where you can go in and download and print a piece of graph paper, and then mark out the exact size of your space and lay out to scale what you want to do in that space. One of the things that I've also seen happen from time to time at the fair is that people bring way more stuff than their space will hold, and then they don't know what to do with it. They're not sure how to display it. They try and push it out into the hallways, or sometimes too tight on the next exhibitor's space. So print out a piece of graph paper, lay it out to scale. What would you like it to look like? And keep in mind that what you want to do is somehow invite people into your space to talk with you. Then your table will not have a tablecloth on it, so you'll want to bring your own table cover. Now that could be an actual tablecloth fabric. I've seen people do some really creative things with what they put on top of their tables, with color and displays and things of that nature. You don't need to go out and spend a lot of money on a special tablecloth unless, of course, you're going to be doing a lot of exhibits. That might be a good investment. I've seen some very nice ones starting at about $100, and they'll actually put your logo on there. Before you do something like that, though, make sure that you have a logo you've decided on for your business, and you want to know what your brand colors are. So the brand colors of the Dare to Be Aware Fair, in case you haven't already guessed it, are blue and purple. They're on everything that we do. And so our main tablecloth is purple with our logo on it. So you want something that's going to bring the color and the energy of your booth together. If it's too varied, it might create visual confusion for people. And as I said earlier, if you want to have a sign in your booth space, you could do a freestanding sign at the back of your booth space, about maximum of 8 feet wide, not 10 foot, 8 feet, because remember your space is 8 feet. If you want to use one of those tall pull-up banners, a freestanding banner, remember that you need to keep it within your space. They usually have a base of anywhere from 18 inches to 24 to 30 inches. So you want to know how much space you need in order to have that in your booth space and have its base on the floor. If you want to do an easel and put a sign of some kind that you're going to create on an easel, or you're going to have newsprint on the easel and have people write things on it. One year we had someone do a sort of pin the tail on the donkey kind of thing with something that they had on the easel. It was a fun activity that drew people into that person's booth. You have to provide your own easel. We do not provide easels. All right. Continuing to prepare your booth space, you want to think about your printed materials. What are people going to take with them to remember who you are and their contact and interaction with you? So at the minimum, you want to have a flyer or a brochure that tells people who you are and what you do. Make sure that that material has your contact info on it. These days, having a QR code on there is strongly recommended. People are really looking for that. You can also make a small sign to put on your exhibit table that has your QR code on it. Some people don't want to carry a lot of stuff with them. They don't want to take a lot of flyers. We provide a tote bag for everybody, so they have a place to put things. But some people just don't want to accumulate the paper. So I strongly recommend that you get a QR code for your web URL or your contact information, and then make sure you have a sign that's clearly printed so that you can have that available to people. And then you also want to think about giveaways. There are basically two kinds of what they call swag giveaway for a conference event. It could be something inexpensive, but make sure that whatever you're giving away, they will have a reason to keep it, use it, and think of you. Pens are often popular with a lot of people because you can use it until it runs out of ink if it's a throwaway pen, and they will see your logo on that pen on a daily basis. For some people, that kind of swag works really well. I've seen lots of creative things that folks have done at the fair with their business cards and stapling a little bit of something to their business card. But make sure that it's something that they will keep for a while if you're going to invest money in it. The higher, you might want to also have a higher cost swag item, because there may be some people who will speak to you and talk with you, and they're showing a lot of interest. You want to give them something that clearly has all your contact information on it. This is where things like little Post-it notes, for example, are something that some folks like to give away that have their contact info on it. Don't invest a lot of money in something that people are going to just walk by and pull off your table. Candy doesn't get you noticed, other than for the moment to satisfy a sweet tooth. You can put candy there, they'll walk towards your booth, but it's not because they're interested in you. They're coming to get that piece of chocolate. So I encourage you to think beyond that kind of thing to get people into your booth space. Keep in mind that it can take a week or 2 or 3 to do the design of your swag, to do some research on the different costs. It's easy to do some Google searches on conference swag, all kinds of different things that you could potentially give away. But remember that you're going to need a minimum of a couple of weeks to put in that order, proof any logo or anything they're going to use, as well as some time for delivery. So don't wait until March 15th to order whatever it is you want to give away at the fair. This is the kind of work it's best to be doing right now in January and February, so you have plenty of time to get what you need. Because I've also heard some stories about people getting what they've ordered and it not being right, and then they didn't, because they didn't allow enough time, weren't able to get it corrected before the fair. And then when you think about your product and your service, what it is that you're going to be promoting at the fair, if there's a way to offer a gift card, you might want to consider that. If you're offering services, you might want to consider that, or maybe a certificate for a discount on future purchases or future services. Maybe you want to offer a buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one half off. BOGO is buy one, get one. So all of those things are ways that you can engage people to make sure that they connect with you because they have an incentive. Milwaukee, by the way, the Midwest happens to be known nationwide in the marketing world as the city of coupons and discounts. Milwaukee and one of the cities in New York State. So think about how you might be able to do that. Generally, a discount is great. A 5%, 10%, 20% discount, whatever it is that you could offer. Buy one, get one is a really nice option for services in particular, because it makes sure that they come back to you for 2 visits, not just 1. Think about creating those certificates or gift cards now, remembering your logo and your brand colors as you have someone help you design it. And make sure your contact info is on the certificate. I have been at conferences where I have gone to someone's booth, talked to them, picked up a brochure or a flyer, and walked away. And there was no phone number, no website, just the business name. And I had to go through the effort of looking it up in order to figure out how I could connect with them. So make sure that the website is on there. Make sure that your phone number is on there so that they know how to reach you. Hopefully, you're actually starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed. And I am saying that playfully in the sense that, yes, there's a lot to do to really maximize getting the most out of your booth at the fair. The people who are the most successful at the fair, the ones who have been coming back for 12, 15 years, they do this kind of work pre-fair, at the fair, and after the fair. So think about, at your booth space, how are you going to collect leads? Will you have a slip of paper for people to fill out? Something simple? Will you have a form for them to fill in? Maybe you'll do a drawing for a door prize that you can give away. By the way, please do not use the word raffle. Raffles are regulated by the state of Wisconsin. It's a door prize that you're offering, and they could put in their business card or provide a sign-up form for them to fill in. Some folks will have an iPad or a tablet where they'll have people actually type the information into a form on the technology. So that's another option. Make sure that you make it easy for people to give you their information. And then an activity, something related to your product or service that they might want to engage in. Yes, hitting a golf ball is a nice thing. Flipping a wheel to get a prize is a nice thing. but they're not necessarily related to your service. If the prize is related to your service, then that would make sense. So figure out what way do you want to get data from these people. And as I said earlier, don't expect a bowl of candy to bring people in. They'll come for the candy, not necessarily for conversation. And don't plan to sit all day. Wi-Fi will be available for all the exhibitors at the fair. There is a separate channel just for the exhibitors that has plenty of capacity. The Brookfield Conference Center can add another channel if we find that we need it. So there'll be plenty of capacity. The information will not be given to attendees. So when you get to the fair, there will be a sheet of paper on the table waiting for you that tells you how to utilize the Wi-Fi at the conference center. Know that you may not be near electricity, so bring charged backup batteries for your electronics. Take the time to get one that will give you a full charge for your phone or your tablet or whatever. Personally, I bring 2 or 3 of them with me every time I'm coming to the fair. Or any fair or any conference, I always bring several backup batteries for me because I never know when I'm going to be able to be near electricity. And even if I was near electricity, I want to plug in my phone, I can't walk away from it then. I have to stand there and watch it while I wait for it to charge. So backup batteries, there are many that are not expensive that will do the job. So there is electricity throughout the floor at the fair. If you indicated that you want electricity, we have done our best to place you, or if you haven't registered yet, we will do our best to place you near electricity if at all possible. But keep in mind that there's a strong probability your booth, your space is not going to be right on top of an electrical outlet. They're in the floor. So if you want access to electricity, you need to bring a long extension cord. My suggestion is a minimum of 25 feet. And be sure to tell us if you're going to need it for your display. We will not rearrange exhibit spaces for you to have electricity for your phone or because you're going to be on your computer for a while. If it's part of your display, some people have videos that they play in their display, for example, then we will do our best to get you as close as possible to electricity. So bring your charged up batteries for your phone or your personal tablet. And then for the flow of the day itself, make sure that you have support staff. When you get to the Brookfield Conference Center and you pull up to unload, you need to get everything out of the car, have one person who's going to take it inside and one person who's going to park the car. Cars cannot stay in front of the conference center while you take all your things inside. We do have volunteers, unlike many fairs that I've been to and had exhibits. We actually have volunteers who are there to help to some degree, but we don't have one volunteer for every exhibitor, and we don't have lots of carts. You need to bring your own cart. The Brookfield Conference Center does not provide wheeled carts for you to put all your stuff in and get them inside the fair. So a wagon, those foldable wagons that they have these days, or a small dolly of some kind, make sure that you bring that to get your things into the fair. In terms of support staff during the day, you're going to want to take a break from time to time. So it's a really good idea to have a friend to be there. You will get admission for 2 folks to support you at the fair. So we will be giving you information on how they will get into the fair and not have to pay to be in the fair. So you don't have to pay extra for them. So arrange for someone to be there with you to support you during the day. Maybe they'll just show up at lunchtime to give you a lunch break. Maybe they'll show up for the first half of the day and then they can walk the fair for the second half of the day. That would be fine as well. Please do not eat at your booth. Eating at your booth, 1, is unprofessional, 2, not allowed by the Brookfield Conference Center. Do people see you eating? They want to be able to talk to you. They see you eating, they'll walk right by and not interrupt you. You cannot bring in a cooler of food. You cannot order in food delivery. You cannot have a friend bring in food delivery. So we have arranged with the Brookfield Conference Center to have good, healthy foods available, as well as some more traditional, you might call it, foods. So there's a bunch of options available to you. The pricing is actually fairly reasonable. So plan to eat at the fair. If you're going to bring in your own protein bar and that's all you're going to have, that's fine. But you cannot bring in a cooler with food in it. One of the wonderful things about the Brookfield Conference Center is that they have multiple filtered water stations where you can go fill a water bottle. So bring your own refillable water bottle and you can go refill it. There are volunteers who walk the fair throughout the day to see if there's anything that you need. You could possibly ask them to go fill it and bring it back for you. That would be okay to do as well. Bottom line, though, is I strongly, strongly encourage you to make it at least a 2-person day, if not a 3-person day, so that you can drop off your materials, you can get your car parked, nothing's left unattended anywhere, all of your things are well taken care of. All right, so those are all the things to think about as you prepare for being at the fair. There's a lot to consider. Then you want to also think about how you're going to drive traffic pre-show. Your potential customers. You may have a lot of people who follow you on your social media who actually have not ever bought a product from you or a service from you. That's your audience. Your family, your friends, people who are going to go out and tell other people that you're going to be at the fair and that that's a great time to get to meet you and to ask you some questions. Sometimes people will not call a business to schedule time, a reading, a massage, a chiropractic appointment, whatever. They want to meet the person first and get a sense of what that person is like. And that's one of the wonderful things that the fair offers. So you might want to schedule regular emails, social media prior to the event. Tell people why they're going to love the event. Encourage them to bring some friends. The tickets on sale on Eventbrite right now offer a buy 3, get a 4th ticket free. So you can mention that to people when you're talking to them about the fair, that if they go onto Eventbrite and buy them in advance instead of at the door, they can bring an extra person at no cost. Tell them what you're going to be offering at the fair. Do something special, do something different than what you do every day that they would want to come and see that or come and talk to you about it. And again, you might want to consider a day of show discount. So example, you might be telling your customers that you're going to be at the Dare to Be Aware Fair and you'll be having a special offer for everybody who stops by your booth. So make sure you come to the fair and stop by my booth. You'll get a discount card. So there are lots of ways to encourage people to bring people into the fair. If we all do this together, we'll create a huge event with lots of support for lots of folks. My customers might want your service as well. So if you think of it that way, if each one of us is promoting the fair, then we're bringing people in as potential customers for anybody and everyone at the fair. And we're doing that for each other. Other people are bringing you customers. Contribute. Do something yourself in social media to help bring customers for others. So utilize your social media to post about the event. There are graphics on the webpage, the daretobeawarefair.com media page, graphics that you can download. You can go to our social Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn and share what we're posting so that other people will see it and put it on your space. I've created some graphics you can add to your email signature that say, I'll be at the Dare Fair, join me. I'm presenting at the Dare Fair, come and see me, that kind of thing. I'll be sending those out within the next week, and you can add them to your email signature if you'd like. Encourage people to message you to tell you that you're going to be by the fair. I've heard of people saying things like, if you message me that you're coming to the fair, I will have something special for you at the fair. And then have a little bit of something, one of those swag things that you can give to them if they stop by your booth. Plan to take a few minutes every day to check the Dare Fair pages in the various social media and share those pages, share your pages, make sure you tag us when you share that you're going to be at the fair. I had a new exhibitor 2 days ago who just signed up for the fair, and within an hour of signing up for the fair, I got a notice that she had tagged that she was going to be at the fair, and she was really looking forward to it, and she was so excited. It's really cool to see that. So you're showing that you promote community, that you want to meet people, that you're excited about sharing who you are and what you have with people. You can also write a post, the text or copy for a post, and send it to us with a graphic, your business logo, ideally maybe a Canva type graphic, something that promotes something special for you, and then we'll post it on our social media. Steph does a really good job of getting all that stuff out there for everybody to see. And our goal, starting in about a week, is to have at least one post every day in social media. So we need you to tell us what you want us to post for you. We will not be writing posts for every exhibitor. We would like you to tell us what you want to feature and give us a graphic that will get people excited. All right, it's April 12th. It's time. The day is here. So now you have to get up early in order to go set up. Make sure you eat a good breakfast. There will be some breakfast things at the conference center, but make sure you've got good fuel for the day. If you get there early to set up instead of waiting until 9:30 to show up, then you'll have time to visit other exhibitors, to check out other parts of the fair once you get your things set up. Walk the floor of the fair to familiarize yourself. Get a sense of where things are, know where the bathrooms are, know where the food is, because people are likely to ask you that. Everyday Bliss will be back with free chair massages again this year. I believe they're going to have like 7 different masseuses doing shoulder back massages all day long. So you'll want to know where that is too, so you can take a break at some point and maybe get a little nurturing in. Remember to, during the day, stand up, stay off your phone, unless you're posting something special on social media and then coming right back to attention to the fair. Make sure that you smile so that people know that you're welcoming them. Be alive, be energetic, be enthusiastic. Engage people as they come by. Say hello, say how are you? If you have something special to offer them, ask, are you interested in yoga? Are you interested in learning more about energy work? So that you engage them in a conversation. And again, as I said earlier, know what you want to tell them about your business and know what questions to ask them to find out what they're interested in. It'll be a long day. At the end of the day, I'm certain it will be a satisfying day for you. You're going to be tired. You'll get all your stuff packed up. We have time to pack up at the end of the day. We don't have to rush you out of there in 15 minutes. Of course, we also don't have 2-3 hours. The Brookfield Conference Center does give us a time when we have to leave, but you can take your time to pack up at the end of the day and feel good about what you've accomplished. So then it's Monday. And on Monday after the fair, mark your calendar for fair follow-up. Don't plan anything else that Monday if it's at all possible. If not Monday during the day, then Monday during the evening. That week after the fair is when you need to do your follow-up to the leads that you've collected. Depending on how many leads you've collected, maybe you're going to send an email. Maybe you're going to send a handwritten note. That would be a real powerful, cool thing to do. To say, I was really happy to meet you at the fair. I'm looking forward to seeing you someday in the near future for a massage or whatever, to see you in the store to buy some crystals, whatever the situation might be. Plan to thank them for stopping at your booth and reiterate whatever follow-up offer you have for them. Maybe it's a discount on an order placed by a certain date. Maybe it's another BOGO kind of thing. Maybe it's a discount if they come into your shop before May 15th and they can buy something at a discount. And then schedule a second follow-up with them a week or two after that. Maybe you could make a phone call to them, depending on who you are and what you do. That may or may not be appropriate, but somehow reach out to them again a week later. In the world of marketing, they often say it takes 7 contacts to maintain or engage a customer for the long term. So think about that over several months after the fair. How many times are you going to reach out to that person? How are you going to do it? What are you going to offer them? What success story are you going to tell to intrigue them? How are you going to get them to come visit your website? All of those kinds of things. Plan this in advance so that you're prepared to do it. And if you're tech savvy enough to be able to write emails and schedule them to be sent out on a certain date, then by all means do it all before the fair so that it's all set and ready to go. Consider a tote bag insert. This year we're doing the tote bags again, and we are planning on distributing 700 tote bags to attendees. We're hoping for a total number of people walking the fair to be somewhere around 900 to 1,000 people. So when we say the tote bags to the attendees, that's not to the exhibitors and their staff. So what you can put into that tote bag, it's a flat bag. It doesn't have a gusset at the bottom. So you can put in a sheet of paper, not a booklet, please. No larger than a folded 11 by 17, folded to 8.5 by 11, or an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. The end size must be 8.5 by 11 or smaller. So if you use 11 by 17, fold it. You can offer items to put into the bags if you would like, pens, keychains, other kind of promotional items. But they ask that other than a pen, which is going to be longer than 3 inches, that whatever the items are, they be no larger than 3 inches square or 3 inches in circumference and a maximum of 8 inches tall. We haven't ever had anybody offer us travel mugs to put into the bags, but that was something I could think of to say, think of that as the size. We need them by March 1st. Stephanie is our stuffing whiz. She is amazing. She's got the system down to get all that done, but she's got to have your stuff by March 1st because it takes a lot of time to put 30, 50 items into a tote bag, 700 tote bags. So our deadline is March 1st. You can drop it off. You can have it shipped to us. All of that information was in an email that was sent out to everyone. I will also post it on the website, on the exhibitors page. I'll make a link to all the instructions for the tote bag. And people love their tote bags. I see them around the city. It's really cool to be somewhere and say, oh, look at that. They were at the fair. So we'd like to get your information out there. And this year, we've actually discounted the cost of putting something into the tote bags. So the fee is only $25. You provide 700 postcards, brochures, whatever it is you want us to put in there, and $25, and we'll take care of the stuffing and make sure that everyone who comes to the fair gets your information. We also offer you some ongoing promotional opportunities. So we encourage you to develop a campaign in advance to post to your social media and to your fair leads. I've already talked about that. Offer a free or discounted event attendance after the fair. And what I mean by that is maybe you'd like to offer a workshop or a class or a demonstration event of some kind that you can invite people to at no cost or a discounted amount as a way of getting them to come specifically directly to you after the fair. Should you choose to do that, I strongly recommend that you do it within 30, maximum 45 days after the fair. You could also consider doing a Dare to Connect workshop between fairs. This is our second year of offering the Dare to Connect workshops. We have almost always offered one free in-person workshop and one free virtual workshop every month. It's a way for you to get your business promoted to our social media, to Meetup, through all of our email lists. So it's lots of promotion, which is very valuable to you. Even if people don't come to that particular date, they're still seeing you again and again after the fair. So you might want to consider doing that from between the 2025 fair and the 2026 fair. It's a great promotional opportunity. So you can make it magical if you choose to be practical. Plan time for the creation of art and design if you don't already have it. Place orders for branded promos and signs and stuff with plenty of time to get it done. And I strongly suggest that once all your things have been delivered and you have everything you want for the fair, that you set it up in your home or in your office somewhere so you can see what it looks like. You can rearrange things, you can play with them a lot, take some pictures of what feels good to you so that when you get to the fair, you're not thinking, should I put this here? Should I put that there? Or finding out that you brought too much or that you didn't bring enough and that sort of thing. So do a trial run so you can see what it's going to look like. And you might end up deciding that you want to bring a plant or something decorative to put on your table to help catch people's attention for your space. If you don't think about that in advance and make sure that you have space for it, thinking of it day of, well, it'd be a good idea for next year's fair, but it won't work for you that day because you won't have it. You won't be ready for it. So please use the fair to expand your light. Stephanie and Dave and I have been working with the Dare to Be Aware Fair. As you all see, this is our 16th year of the fair. And we do this as a community service. This is not a business for us. What little bit we get out of the fair after all the expenses are paid barely covers the expenses that we have. We have kept the costs down as much as we reasonably could in order to give you a wonderful day in a beautiful space and lots of people to see your product and services. So we want you to use your light, your energy, your passion for the work you do, your care about wellness and health and other people's well-being. Use that to make the fair a maximum experience for you. Share your light. How are you going to do that? What is it going to look like? What are you going to create to help other people have a better life? That is the end of our presentation and all the good stuff I have for you. And I managed to do that within the hour that we allocated for the webinar. We do have time for Q&A. These are the links for the graph paper. Those links will be in the document that'll be online by Saturday, as well as in the PowerPoint, which will also be online. But you just go there, you click on it. They're all designed for you. I've been talking a lot. And they're safe sites. That's what I was attempting to think of the right word for. They're safe sites to go to download and print out a piece of graph paper so that you can lay out your booth. So on that note, our presentation is over. So I am going to stop sharing the slideshow and open it up to everyone for Q&A. So if you have a question, Please type it into chat or unmute yourself. And I see from Jennifer, thanks, Jennifer. I have some mystical items I would like to, whoops, it just disappeared. One moment, please. Let me open up chat. There we go. Coffins, cauldrons, skulls. So I'm imagining it's sort of Wiccan kind of things. You can nod your head, yes, no, sort of in that direction. Okay. Okay. Yes, it's okay. And the only thing I caution you about, Jennifer, is there may be people at the fair who don't really know or understand what it is that you're doing. And you probably already keep this in mind, but I would caution you to keep in mind you don't want it to look like Halloween. And I don't think you would do that anyway. I'm just encouraging you to find ways to have it be light energy if you're going to use those things. Does that make sense to you? Yes? Okay, good, good. We've had people bring things like that in the past, Jennifer. Anybody else? Questions? Either unmute. Okay, I see there's more messages. Can you have an extra table? Only if you purchase another booth. There's not room in the space for 2 tables and a person. You could have 2 tables, 2 chairs. I mean, 1 table, 2 chairs. You could have 1 table, 1 chair, and a small table toward the back of your booth. Or if you turned your table so it's not across the front of the booth, but it's on either side, you could have a smaller table toward the back of the booth as long as there's room for you to stand and sit. Starting and ending time of the event. The fair itself, the doors open at 10 a.m. Eric's Global Healing Circle starts at 9 a.m., but we do not allow people in the main hall until 10 a.m. The fair ends at 5 p.m. I'm not seeing any other questions. Anybody else? David, yes?
Yeah, thank you so much. And I'm sorry I got in late because I was traveling. So I don't know if you've covered this, but a lot of times when I'm going down at any fair and there's all these people sitting behind tables, it almost feels like the table is like a buffer or a wall. Yeah. Do you have any thoughts about sitting behind a table, putting the table behind you with your goodies on it, or other booth layouts?
I did mention that a bit, David, and I'm happy to answer your question.
Thank you.
So for some people, like people who are readers, they tend oftentimes to want to stay behind their table because they bring the person behind the table to sit next to them to do a reading. If it's not that kind of a situation, it works really well to bring your table along one side or the other of the 6 foot by 8 foot space, and then for you to stand alongside the table or put the table toward the back of the space and for you to stand and be in front of the table. You can also put a chair in front of the table if you need to sit from time to time, because I know it's hard for anybody to stand for all those hours, right? That's 7 hours. That's a lot of time. So how you configure within your 6 foot by 8 foot space really should depend mostly on what you offer, what you want people to do when they come to your booth. Do you want them to look at product that's spaced out and to see what they might want to buy? Do you want them to stand and talk to you? Do you want them to sit and talk to you? All those kinds of things. So you have a lot of flexibility for that. Thanks for your question. What time can you start setting up? I believe we open up, Steph, maybe you can help me or remind me if this is not accurate. 7:30 is our setup.
I'm remembering.
Yeah, pretty sure it's 7:30. You will be getting over the next 3 months lots of emails from us. Not like 20 a day kind of thing. That's not what I mean by lots. But you're going to get a long email with all the instructions that an exhibitor needs to know. You'll get that in plenty of time prior to the event. That information will also be linked to our website, so you can download it from the web if you can't find the email. So you'll get constant communication from us, encouraging you, seeing if there's anything that you need, asking for your Facebook posts, giving you data that will be helpful to you, all of those kinds of things. So you'll get a really thorough schedule and do's and don'ts and, those kinds of things prior to the fair. Anybody else? Questions?
I have a quick question. So if we registered, should we have gotten info about what our booth number is and all of that yet?
No, we haven't
Okay.
finished signing booth numbers yet. We've got about 2/3 of them done. It's always a juggle as we try to space people appropriately around the fair, and balance out the energy of the fair and that sort of thing. We spend a lot of time, hours and hours and hours, attempting to make it a really good experience for everyone. So I'm hoping that no later than February 1st, we will have the 2025 exhibitors up on the website with all the booth numbers. And then there's a diagram on the website so you can see exactly where your booth is.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure. Thanks for asking. Anything else?
I have a question.
Yes.
So, you said that people who do readings, they keep the table behind, and then there's people who do like massages, things like that. And you also said there is no like curtains between booths.
Right.
It's just all open space. So
Yep.
I'm just curious about like how loud, like how do people actually do something that's like an intimate conversation when you got all these people talking and it's all open space? Can you just tell me a little bit about the
Sure.
noise level and how those kind of
That is-
conversations happen?
How we work with that. So the first year we moved to the Brookfield Conference Center to accommodate readers, coaches, people who were having quiet or intimate conversation with people. We actually put all those folks in separate rooms. In that, there would be like a room of 10 people, 10 booths. And then we had one really big room where there were like 70 booths. And the feedback that we got is that all of the folks who were in the smaller rooms were disappointed that not everybody who walked the main hall came into those rooms. Well, the people who came into the rooms were the people interested in readings because they knew who was in those rooms. And so we had a big sign that said readers or around the corner kind of thing. So last year we put everybody in the main room. And we did not get the feedback that there was a noise problem. So there is some noise, but Brookfield Conference Center, unlike when we were at Alverno, which was an older facility and differently configured, the Brookfield Conference Center was designed for conventions, for trade shows. And so the acoustics and the setting and all those kinds of things were already very much taken into account when they did that. And so the readers that I talked to last year as to how was your day and how did it go, not one of them said to me it was too noisy.
Okay,
So,
thanks. I was just curious. I've not been, and I was just curious about that because we'll be having conversations at our booth. So thank you very much. That was helpful.
You're welcome. Anybody else? All right. So if there are no more questions, what we're going to do is close our time together. I appreciate those of you who were here tonight. Steph, do you have anything you want to add that I might have forgotten?
I think you covered everything. I was following along and it's like, wow, she's just got like everything. You did
Okay.
great.
Thank you. And I do encourage you all when look on this weekend, it should be up online, the PowerPoint and the PDF file. Print it out and use it like a checklist. We will also be sending to you at one point, we call it the exhibit box list. And it's a list of all the little miscellaneous items that it's nice to have at an exhibit space. You know, bring some paper clips, bring some paper for signs, bring a marker or two, you know, things of that nature. Bring Kleenex for yourself, bring your battery chargers and all those sorts of things. So we will send that checklist out to you as well, because we want to support your success as much as we possibly can. If there is anything that you think of later and you have a question, please, you can use the contact form on our website to reach out. You can email Patricia at daretobeawarefair.com or Stephanie at daretobeawarefair.com, and we will respond to you promptly and answer your questions, whatever they might be. At this point, we currently have 74 exhibitors who are occupying 83 booths. So that means that we have roughly 20 booths left. So if you happen to know someone who is in the world of wellness, which is our theme for this year, if you happen to know someone who you think might want to promote at the fair and be with us for the day, please share information with them. Encourage them to go to the website where all the exhibitor registration information, our other workshop that says what's included with an exhibit, as well as this session, all of that stuff will be there for them to access. And we have spaces in the tote bag, so please feel free to share that as well with other folks. You don't have to be an exhibitor to put something in the tote bag. So on that note, thank you very, very much. I look forward to seeing all of you at the fair, getting to see you in person, yay! And maybe even share a hug or two if you're a hugger kind of person. If not, we'll do a fist bump or something, but we'll connect and have a great couple of months. And again, if there are any questions, please feel free to reach out. Thank you all very, very much for being here tonight. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.